Okay, so this is the last Raw before Hell in a Cell. Of course, we begin it with the authority, or the establishment, or the authorita. So Triple H and Steph are in the ring. Big Show hacks his way into the signal because, it's super easy to do when you're unemployed and broke. Which then led to your opening contest. Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose. Nice match, good back and forth, but these two guys know each other from all the matches Daniel Bryan has had in some form or fashion with the Shield. Worked well. Daniel Bryan got the victory. Randy Orton took on Dolph Ziggler. These two guys have really good chemistry. But of course, you knew Dolph Ziggler wasn't going to get a victory over Orton. Orton hits RKO out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. So now I'll go full circle. I'll finish off those two with the contract signing. A lot of the focus of this contract signing wasn't Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton. It was Shawn Michaels, Triple H. And then Triple H, Daniel Bryan, more or less saying that Triple H would never fight Daniel Bryan because he only fights stars. Pretty much saying that Daniel Bryan will eventually end up facing Triple H. And Triple H will be the person who will undeniably have to probably put him over. Even though when Triple H feuded with CM Punk, he did win his match against CM Punk. It was a bizarre match. It had a horrible ending to it, but he did eventually get the victory over CM Punk. They never had a second match. But it would be a unique match to see those two guys. So that having been said, when it comes to their match at Hell in a Cell, I want to see Daniel Bryan win this. So I think you have Daniel Bryan win this, and then Triple H and Steph therefore lose their backing when it comes to Randy Orton, therefore leading to a Triple H versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series, which I think would be a very, very impressive match. Santino Marella took on Heath Slater, and he used the Elvis Cobra. But he did a nip-up to hit a Cobra while Heath Slater was in midair. So the Cobra can now come out of nowhere. Nice, it worked well. It was a pretty interesting spot to see. Tons of Funk took on the Real Americans. Giant swing to Clay, then the Patriot Lock. Real Americans get the victory. Okay. Not bad. Your main event was the Usos versus the Shield. Winner becomes the number one contender for the Rhodes Dynasty Tag Team titles. This match was surprisingly good, but then again, Shield and the Usos know each other very well. The ending came when Ambrose decided to attack one of the Usos, after he was also kind of getting in the face of the Rhodes. So now you had the Rhodes, the Usos, and the Shield to lead to a triple threat match at Hell in a Cell, with all three teams being involved in it. I do think the Rhodes are on way too big of a tear to lose this match. It does, however, allow them to pin the Usos and then continue for at least another month their feud with the Shield. When it came to the Brie Bella AJ match that's going to happen, Nikki finally got cleared for ring work. So Nikki and Brie took on AJ and Tamina. Ironically, I think Brie needs to change her finisher. She does a beautiful roll up into a single leg Boston Crab, very much like what you see from Lance Storm. She does a beautiful job at it. I really do think her finisher, I think she should work the leg more and do that out of nowhere, rolling single leg Boston Crab as her finisher, as opposed to the X Factor. Or Carpet Muncher, as it was called before the E changed and called it the X Factor. So, of course, the Bella Twins get the victory over AJ and Tamina. And that one, part of me just does not see Brie Bella winning the title. I mean, AJ's done a really fantastic job. She just really doesn't have a good person to go against. She's a great heel with no credible face to really go against. I really wish she was taking on Natalya instead, but this is the match we've got, and I don't really see a reason to take the title off AJ and put it on Brie. All that's going to happen is she's going to have to fight AJ again or lose the title to Tamina, and it doesn't really seem to go anywhere from there. Big E Langston had a match with Curtis Axel, but actually he just got jumped by Ryback beforehand. So Ryback and Curtis Axel were doing a number on Big E Langston, and then CM Punk made his way down. And then Vicky channeled Teddy Long to make it a tag match. Big E Langston, big ending, 1, 2, 3, gets the victory on Curtis Axel. So Big E is taking on Curtis Axel for the IC Championship in the kickoff show. I think Big E would get a huge push if he were to become IC champ. Just gonna throw that out there. I think it would give Curtis Axel something more to do beyond just stand in the background. It would give him the opportunity to have to actually fight to regain that and to regain any credibility he would have lost in the eyes of Paul Heyman. Before that match, Paul Heyman cut an Ultimate Warrior-esque style promo. Beautiful promo. You have to look it up. It's an amazing promo. He then goes into the cold, calculated Paul Heyman. So now I also talk about the CM Punk, Ryback, Heyman in a Hell in a Cell. I do realize we saw him face Ryback last year at Hell in a Cell. We saw him face Ryback last 3 weeks ago at Battleground. And then before that Night of Champions, he took on Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman. I know that Punk has mentioned he wants to take some time off, so it almost makes sense to have Ryback actually defeat CM Punk in this match. It would make sense. It's either that or I could see CM Punk beating Paul Heyman. In the process of doing so, Ryback just destroys him. It's a Pyrrhic victory. Yeah, either one of those two work. They spent a lot of time talking about John Cena. Yes, John Cena's coming back like 4 months ahead of schedule, so I guess now he's not going to win the Royal Rumble to take on Del Rio. Meh. If Cena wins, I want to see Sandow cash in the Money in the Bank and become champion. The better story, I think, is if he comes back and he loses to Del Rio. If he loses to Del Rio in the cross-arm breaker, it'll make it seem like he came back maybe just a little bit too soon. Both actually make for pretty decent stories. Sandow is champion, or John Cena loses his big return match. However, I picture John Cena winning. It'd be great to then see Sandow cash in and beat John Cena. That would definitely give Cena something to do for a couple of months till the establishment or the Authority storyline finishes its way up past Survivor Series.